Alright, we are back today in the sunken Decepticon ship, the Nemesis, and today we're going to take a look at Transformers Combiner Wars Bombshell. Now, you can't really see behind me yet, but we have got quite the plethora of different Insecticons. They're stacked with all the kind of like the Legends class size figures from the original G1 and some of the remakes that we have coming out now. We'll look at him compared to see how he fits with some of the other ones like Scrapnel, who was just recently made right here, and his original G1 counterpart, Bombshell. So let's start here and take a look at the packaging. Again, we got some nice artwork up here. You can see it's got the card here in the back and the instructions down here. This guy's so simple, we don't need instructions. And then what's interesting about this is for this guy, they show, okay, it is only two different things, but they don't show the gun form. So you actually have to have gone to somewhere else to actually look up the gun form to know that there is actually a third alt mode for this guy. So let's go ahead and take him out there, put this off to the side, and we'll take a look at him. So let's move forward here a little bit, get a little bit of a good look at this guy. So this is Bombshell. Bombshell is a very, very cool little guy. He's got lots of posability. He really holds true to a lot of his G1 look and style. And you know, let's look at that first, and then we'll look at the transformation and see what he can do. So if we bring them forward, here we go. Here is his original G1 counterpart. So you can see they have fairly similar. They have this nice gold kind of yellowish front. Now all the original G1 Insecticons, they all have this hollow area, which is actually common with a lot of the G1 Transformers. That's just the way they hollowed out and made a cool little place here. His does not open, his is tight. He does not come with a gun either. So this is the G1 gun for Bombshell, but the newer Bombshell does not come with one. But what is interesting is all of the Insecticons from G1, they all have the wheels, and I kind of, you know, they're robots, they're bugs, but they're still robots, so I kind of dig the wheels. And this guy is so much heavier because he's die cast up here compared to this guy who's plastic. But one thing they kept very similar is look at the shoulder right here. This is this rotating ball here, and then this piece I can go back and forth. The same thing here. So this piece can go back and forth, and you got the but the ball itself does not rotate on this new Combiner Wars. It's just on a ball joint right here, so his arm can move any direction, basically the same as his can, but just you know, not as good. So the ball joints, you know, just a little bit better. This guy is different. He has like little cannons for his hands, which we've also seen in Rook, which is over here, and we'll look at him in just a second for him to hold him in the combined form, where this guy does have hands. And then the difference is the legs. Now, they did a much better job, I think, with the legs for Bombshell with this remake, because you can see they actually look like legs right here. You know, he doesn't really have any necessarily feet, but he at least has something that resembles legs, whereas this guy is just completely hollow. You know, his waist doesn't turn. This is the backside. This is now the hollow legs, and you can see these are supposed to be the feet right here. So this guy's a little lacking in that department. All right, so let's look at him and see what he can do. So as I mentioned before, again, both of these guys, they have a head that is just molded in here. So neither one of their heads can move at all, but look at that head sculpt. That's a pretty cool head sculpt. Okay, so take a look at him. You see his nice red eyes in the grill. Here, the eyes are not colored, but this is also a knockoff, so that might be why. I'm actually going to do a review of these knockoffs if you ever want to get the G1 Insecticon knockoffs. But you can see it's very similar. It's got the same grill, just his eyes are just not colored. Alright, so this guy does a really good job with variation. He is nice, and he's got this silver right here, so the waist does move back and forth. Again, the head doesn't move, but with his arm on a ball joint, you can move his shoulder any way you want. There's also a ball joint right here at the elbow, so the hand can move any direction. I don't have a lot of issues of the ball joints popping off, which is great. The figure seems to be made pretty solid. Now also, you can see his little one of his little feet from when he's transformed. This can also move back and forth right here. Same with the feet on the back of him. They are separate, so you can see I can move one and leave the other, and they all just fold inside for the robot mode. And these right here are a little obscene. his kneecaps are like blowing out of his knees, but these are actually the handles that somebody can use to hold on to him when he's in gun mode. So you'll see that in just a second. Again, has a nice ball joint right here at his hip, so the hip can move any direction, and this is a swivel and back and forth joint right here, so his leg can really go in any direction. You know, whatever weird pose you want to put him in, he can pretty much handle, because that's just the way he is. Oh, look at that. And you can see how easy it is to pose this guy. I mean, I did that in 2 seconds. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at him and the transformation that he goes through, and it's pretty easy. All right, so we can start by kind of holding him this way. This is the way he's going to be. Just pull this piece up. It covers his face. Go ahead and pull the little stinger out. Now you're going to turn his whole waist and pull the little legs out. Okay, and then this part's pretty self-explanatory. You can see the big groove. So you pull that down, rotate that down, and they just kind of sit there. It can still move right here when he's in this little bug form, but that's just the way that it is. And then flip him over, and last piece is you are going to move these. Okay, move his arms in. You can see there's a tab right here, and there's a tab right here. They are in different places, so this tab will go into a hollow piece on this one, and this tab will go into a hollow piece in this one. So let's move this hand out of the way, and I'll show you what I mean. So you bring those in, you kind of turn them. Now remember, these are ball joints, so you just turn them to wherever you need them to go, and then you line these up and you push them together. Sometimes I find it easier to push it together up here before I put them down. So just go and do like that. And because they're on ball joints, they're very wiggly. You know, you can see you can move them all around. They have a lot of movement, but it doesn't really matter. So that's it. That's the oh, let's get this arm out. So you can move the legs however you want. If you want to make him look like he's close to the ground, normally I just have the legs kind of down like this, and I push him, and I just kind of gently push him to the ground, and that gets all the legs in the right position. So what is cool about this is I mentioned that all the different legs move separate of each other, so you can really get some decent poses from this guy in the bug form. You know, you can make it up like that. You can make it down like he's looking for something. So he actually has some pretty decent posability when he is in this form. So now let's take a look at the other guy. It's the same basic transformation, except a little easier. There you go, done. Okay, so it's only like 5 steps. Now, when you look at the two of them, they're very comparable. They look great. You kept pretty, let's see, you can put these however you want. I usually put them down like this so you don't see them in the bug. They just kind of fold in here and kind of hide a little bit better. Okay, so now you can see from the back, there is a little difference in coloring. You have purple here versus black, but pretty much everywhere else, the coloring is the same and the transformation is the same. Now you can't see this guy's a little bit smaller, and yes, he's got gray plastic where this guy's got a nice chrome piece, and he's got some wheels, and he's got chrome legs down here where this guy's got gray plastic legs. So yes, I like the new one, but it's really hard to knock the old, the original Bombshell as well. So they're both pretty good little figures. And so anyway, all right, so let's take a look at him. Now this is his counterpart that they made first, and you can see they use pretty much the exact same purple, different yellows. It's kind of like a pale metallic. This is kind of like a gold metallic, so you can see they're slightly different, but it's the same gray plastic for them, and then the same black as well. So they do look like they go together, especially when they're both transformed into either the robot or their alt mode. They do look like they fit well with each other. So now the last thing I want to mention is we'll go look at the I guess the second alt mode for this guy, and that is for him as the gun mode. Now, like I said before, it doesn't really show it on the package, and it doesn't show in the instructions either. So if you want to do the gun mode, you almost have to look online or watch a video like this to know what it is. But it's also very easy because there's just not much else you can do. All right, so for the gun mode, these are two blasters. You're going to rotate them around. So unfortunately, you're going to have to pull them apart and do the same thing as you did underneath here, and now we're going to do it up here. So you pull them apart, rotate them around, and then you go ahead and lock them together again, and now you put them directly under his little nose piece or blaster or whatever you want to call it. Let's get those to stay in. Again, like I said before, since they're in ball joints, they don't necessarily stay all the time. Okay, so you just need to get it to look something like this. Okay, you can see it kind of looks like a blaster there. Now you go ahead, let's move these handles out of the way and put all of his feet in all the way. It look kind of weird if you use a cannon and you've got all these feet hanging out. So this is how he should look. He should look something like this, where these feet are all in. You can't really do much about these. If you want, you can maybe rotate them like this. I think that's kind of the way they don't have it like that, but it hides the feet a little bit more off to the side like this. So I think that's actually a little bit better. Okay, so here he is. This is your gun cannon, and we can pull down one or two of the handles if you want. So let's bring in Defensor. Okay, and let's show you what it looks like. Now, unfortunately, it's very hard to, you can see this guy is right in the way of this, so you can probably get him in there a little bit, but sometimes it's easier just to move one of the legs off to this side, and I find it easier to do it that way. So there you go, it's as easy as that for him to hold it. Let's go ahead and get him to hold it and point it out. Again, the ball joints, because it's a ball joint, it really does kind of not stay where it's supposed to be. Alright, so let's move this back here, and you can see, there you go. So you have Defensor holding the little gun. Looks pretty good. You can see right here. You know, it's nice that these Combiner Wars Legends series actually have some different alt modes that you can use them for. And it's a cool looking gun. You can see from the different rotation here that it does look like a blaster. You know, it's pretty cool. Alright, so let's transform him back into the robot, and then I'll compare him to Scrapnel. And of course, they have not done a kickback yet, and I don't know if they will, because they did a kickback not too long ago in the deluxe for the Transformers Generations. Alright, so let's go ahead and transform him back. It's pretty straightforward. Go ahead and pull these legs out, so you can pull these legs out, then put all the little, I don't know what you want to call them, put the little insect legs back in, turn the waist, you can pull the arms out. I mean, this guy really, and you can see this hides really nice in the back. So there's really nothing you need to worry about in terms of transformation. It's really, really easy. So you bring him up here with this other guy. You can see he's a little stockier. So there's not like a 100% match. This guy's head is puny. I think they would have liked to have made a bigger head for him, but he just kind of has, he's got all this junk in the way, so it's difficult to put it there. But together, you can see they look pretty good. They look like they are two Insecticons that should be hanging out together, and that's about it. I would say the one difference in plastic than some of the paint apps is this guy has kind of a little bit of a darker metallic purple, and this guy has just kind of a light purple. I do like Bombshell much better. I like his darker golden yellow and the darker metallic purple. I think he looks better than you do with Scrapnel. But that's it. That's him for the Combiner Wars. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Please click like and subscribe. I'm posting new Combiner Wars reviews all the time. Thanks a lot.